We're back in for like a random little message because we were just like having a really like productive conversation because like I think I was more so just giving us like love and like flowers, honestly, because like people don't realize like my capacity like to hold like not even just opposing but like large scales of diverse like information and experience and point of view and perspective at one time. Like very rarely am I ever taking, other than like the space that I've carved out for myself here, very rarely am I ever getting to, or like even placing like my world, my personal in the framework of anything for anyone else to be responsible for, like focusing on, right? Because I'm on the consciousness journey and I'm aware. Because when I awakened at a spiritual level, at a soul level, when I awakened to the new paradigm, not even just like on a spiritual thing, I was like, when I woke up and came into the new world is all about that. Where it's like it means that what you're on is what you're on, you know. And so many of us in the old world paradigm were like in a system that did actually want to like create a certain type of manipulated outcome, whether that be with like a currency generation or whatever. And when those outcomes are what you need, and we're actually like still dealing with like human life, big frequency, but we're like still dealing with like human life at the same time, it's like that's where we get the like I feel like I'm being jerked around by society. So anyways, we were just having such a beautiful conversation about like me and Dennis's like true core beliefs, and it's like super fucking point blank simple, and it's like unity consciousness. Like, I mean, welcome to the age of the Aquarian, which is where all of you girls who are clearly not Aquariuses have yet to catch up to, because that's what your problem is. You're still stuck in the firmament, being like, they're different. You have an illusion. You have taken this too seriously. You need to smoke a bleezy because you think that this that you see here, whatever it may look like, you actually think that's grounds to like actually mean that you and I are having a separate experience, when in fact we are not. And this goes beyond intrapersonal relationships amongst human beings. Anything that has life and death, and the passing of life and death, the birth of life and death, the creation of life and the destruction of it, feels the same for anything. So I know you girls hate my little vegan agenda, but it actually came from unity consciousness. It actually came from when I sent a shit. I was like, well, what is really the difference though? You know, because we have so many people right now that are going to pick and choose and show you that they've still been conditioned, and they've still yet to do the decolonizing of their mind, because there are still populations of people that they've been told and conditioned to feel abhorrent amounts of empathy for, and others that we don't feel as much empathy for. And all God's trying to bring you to the awareness of, between life, death, and the afterlife, would be that there was never any reason to be ascribing a value system. We can't do things like classify people by race anymore. We can't classify people by gender anymore. We can't even classify people by like sexual orientation. All of that is illusionary. So when we have if you guys want to talk to Alexis Taylor about where the future of politics, life, that kind of stuff goes, it's going to be a big auditing of all the mumbo jumbo that we use right now as empirical data. We've been pulling empirical data on what are the stats for transgender mass shootings, when that's not even real terminology. That's not even real. Like, it's not even real. Whatever the expression of the third dimension has to be, it always begins, word to my Jewish brothers and sisters, it always begins on a higher ether, right? The tree of life, it always comes down. The very last thing to happen is how it's expressed in the third dimension. And everything that comes from the third dimension in terms of its expression has to do with the limitations and the confines and the physicality of this dimension. And Cyril, because I am trapped, because there are 24 hours in this day on this planet, because, you know, I am stuck to the ground in terms of gravity, because I have to breathe oxygen and I can't just drown in the water, because we have these sorts of these illusions on Maya, right? These illusions on this planet of illusions. We have gotten way too fucking densely, like, look up, brother. Look up. That's why I suggest you girls take a trip. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you should pop a Molly and start sweating. Maybe you should take the shroom. Because whatever is going to help you connect the dots, if you're not willing to do it for yourself at this time, that it's not actually... It's not this. It's not... There's no difference between me and my husband. Divine love will show you that. Like, when I lay on this person, I feel like there's nothing but a giant orb of space on us, because that's how much the resonance of our souls is the same. That's what started me on this consciousness journey, where I started teaching people that, where I was like, this isn't even a spiritual teaching. When I talk about creator prime source, I'm talking about the prime source of all creation, right? through which we're all pulling our energetic signatures from, through which we're pulling all of the power of this planet from, and everything that exists in the cosmos from, right? Like we're talking not just this galaxy, every galaxy that's ever existed in this now. And so again, like one thing that's like gonna make people super fucking nauseous at this goddamn time is the way that humanity is taking itself way too seriously right now. It's like, it's way too much. It's like way too much. It's like way too much. It's like just, you're at a 10, we need to bring it to a 2. Because it's not even an education problem, it's a consciousness problem. Like it's like we have to have the mass awakening where it's like, because the mass awakening, people think it's going to shell shock you. It's not. It's going to make you chill out. It's going to make you really stop reaching. I mean, when you die, let me tell you right now, if you've ever had the unfortunate disservice of having to sit at the lines of life and death in your own life and in your environment, one thing you will see instantly is like, what does any of it fucking matter? What does any of it matter? All the jargon is for the living. All the back and forth is for these living motherfuckers. But when your time is up, your time is just up. You release back into the big Piscean cosmic waters. And it's going to be just that. Just like Scooby-Doo. All them little souls were sitting in that cauldron. It's going to be just that. Just infinite energetics that are just, that's it. And so with this human experience, why are we not making love? Like, actually, though, you guys think I'm being over dramatic? Like, oh, she's just obsessed with her husband. I'm like, what else is there to do other than to breathe with my guy? I know I'm irritating you girls because I'm getting rejected from the system that you think is the only way to be. Like, you know, I've gotten fucking put out on the street just because I live in unity consciousness. I'm not lazy. I'm not uneducated. I'm not stupid. I'm not driven. But just because, for me, I'm 28. I think by this ripe age, I should be able to give myself something. And if I'm going to give myself something, it's going to be like living the way I want to live. And the way that I truly want to live is every day with the love of my life. Because when I know my seer ass also walking with the Grim Reaper fucking frequency, let me tell you something about me. Me and death, we know what that is. We know we know how it knocks. And so for me, I'm just always at this level of emotional intelligence where I'm like, my brother in Christ, one thing I'm not going to do is waste a single second of any day. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And if I knew it was good for me, I wouldn't keep messing with the divine's orchestration of things. So stop with other people too. Let nature do its thing. You're not here to be a judge. You're not here to be a juror. You're not here to be a cop, a persecutor, a regulator. None of it. None of it. You are here to actually do as much with this human life as you can because of its significance, because of how one of one you are, how one of one this time-space continuum is, how one of one this now moment of unique recording history really is. And when you girls get that fat message about what I was doing here on this archive and why I was really that big brain that we were all looking for, because with me, everybody's like, wow, it's all so simple. How do you make it so simple? It's not even like that. It's not even that hard. You just got to go up high enough. You do. You just got to be able to look down at it all the same way the creator does. Shout out my Aquarius gang. It's our time. Because these girls don't get that. These girls are still a part of the zodiac that's like building blocks. They're still like a part of the wheel. They're not at the top of nothing. They're not looking at it all. You know? And when you understand all the moving parts to life for real, from a seated posture, I'm not my struggle, I'm not poverty, I'm not my trauma, I'm not my unhealed wounds, I'm not any one thing. I am exactly like everything else that's around me. It's nothing but a bunch of mirrors everywhere. Everywhere. That's it. Mirrors. That's why this week felt like a funhouse hellscape for my country. Why? Because it was just like everybody wanted. One thing that I thought was beautifully poetic about the universe this week was that like the universe was not going to let us end at our trying to prove our point that there was some sort of separateness, that there was an enemy. There wasn't even an enemy. There's not. Because the enemies that everybody was so ready and hoping that the universe would prove to be there ended up being people of the same cloth, people of the same ideologies doing the same thing. So you see what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's not there. And one thing I love about the universe is that it's not going to let humanity keep lying to itself anymore. That that it's that different to make this choice versus that choice. They're all just choices, and the whole point that God tries to bring us back to every time with the fragility of life is that a choice is a choice is a choice is a choice is a choice. We need to have grace and mercy for ourselves because choices put us on paths, and we're all doing that every day of every moment of our lives. Human and non-human species alike, all living organisms of this planet, all members of our collective ecosystem are all doing the same thing, you know. And sometimes the heaviness is just like drives me insane because I've had to like lose family members and things this year, where really when I think about time not spent with one another because people let illusionary things separate us. You and Dennis aren't having a job to my standards, so therefore you're not worth being in my reality anymore, if that's really how you feel. But I think people really do feel that way about us. However, that feeling is derived from an illusion. So then do you really even feel that? Or are you making yourself feel something based on not empirical? There's no data that's actually backing up your illusionary claim that me and you are separate, because we're not. Because yeah, I'll leave your house, but I'm over here doing the same thing as you, which is just living life, loving life from somewhere else with less stability, right? Why do we even have kids if the real thing we're going to say to them at some point is like, get the fuck away from me. I need space from you. You probably need space from yourself is probably what it is. You get what I'm saying? There's no one to point your finger at. No one's your problem. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
It's like really quite simple.
It's so simple. So many people got so upset with me this year because I was like, I'm just not going to take that I am the thing that makes your life a bad experience. Because I'm not. No one is. No one is. You already know you deal with the universe that is inputs and outputs. Careful about what you bring into your field because everything's magnetized. It's a magnetized reality. I can take this from accountability. I have magnetized plenty of traumas to myself. Magnetized them. Through my own subconscious behaviors. Through my own past like doo-doo. You know what I mean? Through all my I've done plenty of those things. So anyways, that's my little thing. But this is like such a big message for me right now about like the fucking truth of unity consciousness. The truth of one love, bruv. It's one vibration that really keeps all of this together. And so when we talk about nefarious entities, at the end of the day, the biggest thing about darkness, negativity, nefarious entities that really, the real threat on this planet that plagues this planet, all that they're really trying to do is separate you from your source. But source is all of us, right? The source is like, we're all the arm of God. We're stitched into it. Everything God makes is like a part of God's vessel, right? And so when we're talking about you can talk about religious sectors that talk about like demons, Satan, these types of things. These things are kept alive through the frequencies of humans who plant into and buy into and continue to perpetuate narratives through whatever channel that may be that says it's possible for me and another thing to be completely different. That is a lie from the pits of hell. It doesn't matter what you look like. You and someone else are going through the exact same thing. When your feelings get hurt, it feels the same way for every person. When you fail at something, it will feel the same way for every person. When you fall in love with someone, it's going to feel the same way at every person. When it's time to orgasm, it feels the same for every person. Yeah, the same. The same. When you give birth, when a family member dies, when you graduate, whatever it is you're doing, we can all do it a different way. But the intangibles of life all feel the same way. Joy is, because how would we have definitions for joy if we didn't all feel it? If we weren't all capable of tapping into the same feeling, right? How do we agree on definitions if they aren't actually universal? Right? I was joking with Dennis. I was like looking up GAT. But like, you know what I mean? If it wasn't really one love, how do we all know what GAT is? Like, how do we do all this Gen Z terminology all the time? You know what I mean? You know, when I say what the fucky, how come you girls are saying that? Because it's one love, right? Because it's possible. It's possible that we might all be feeling the same thing. And this message keeps coming out because look at all these different opinions. No, it's this way. No, it's this way. No, it's this way. And then all the fighting it. And it's like, you want to know why I'm coming out on top right now, Queen of Cups? Because my message is even bigger than that, baby. My definition of this country is even bigger than what you girls think it is. Even our most high-ranking, the most patriotic motherfucker on this motherfucking planet ain't as patriotic as me because you don't know how high up the frequency goes. Most of you girls are in the trenches when it comes to thinking about what you think is going on in this nation. I'm sitting up here like every nation is the same. I'm sitting up here wondering why you guys are jetting across the globe to go to a country that's exactly like the one you came from. Oh, they're not ready for it, Dennis. They're not ready for it. They're not ready for it. They're not ready for it. Damn, what do you mean I went on fucking tour and I feel just as depressed as I did before I left the house? Because at this point, modern day, the capital of Honduras is the same as Mexico City, as Austin, Texas. We're all up to speed. Like, it's an illusion to think that anything other than the U.S. is third world. That's not even true. It's like so far from true. And all we're catching up with like Wi-Fi and the internet is how much like you can really go into the crevices of all these lands across this globe and everything just replicates. You can really see it when you're in Texas. If you're from Texas, you know this. Every Texas town is the same. The exact same. It's just echelons of like whether it has been like built out or not, really and truly. Like the density of the city. But every Texas town has started the same way and is founded the same way. Matter of fact, every exit you go off of in Texas when you get to a new town, it's like the same thing. And I love that because it really taught me that, like, even though I used to feel like, oh, I've only, you know, for so long, I was like, Texas is a massive state. I feel like I was like, oh, I'm just like, it's really easy to just stay here, right? But then you realize, like, well, the key to life is you don't got to do anything because everything's the same. I went 3,000 miles away in college trying to figure out if it's any different, and it's not. It's not.
New York.
It's not. You know, when people hear me saying stuff, it's not out of fear, but I'm like, well, there are certain things that you no longer feel the need to go do, because if you can't do it from where you're standing, it's not out there either. If I, like, for example, when I'm talking about New York Fashion Week, if I can't make the concept where I'm standing right now, it's not going to be out there either. So yeah, sometimes you can save yourself time, energy, and force, you know, and forced willpower by just standing still and doing what it is you were going to do. You know, that's kind of what I learned about the Children of America tour. It's like, maybe, just maybe, there's nothing failed about it. Maybe, just maybe, I can tap into the frequency. I mean, I have to be able to, because even if I wanted, like, oh, I really want to go on the tour and I really want to drive around, I really want to pop out, right? And do the whole thing for the country. But maybe the power of it is that I did the work of the tour. Like, it doesn't matter, because when 214 came, I started doing the work of the tour, which is like the changing the country from the inside out thing. That's what I started doing. And it's proven to really serve me first, you know, which is kind of all I can really ask of it. And that's where you release, because then you're like, we can't ask that much of our highest power to constantly be orchestrating things. Because at some point, can we not connect to the root feeling? Like, even when you have hella material possessions in life that bring you a lot of joy or bring you a lot of experiences that you want to have or give you a lot of freedom in certain ways. At the same time, though, that feeling of freedom, where we're going in the age of the Aquarian, is the idea is to be able to increase your consciousness to arrive there, to already be there before it even shows up. Because I believe there was a time and a date for every advancement for me and my husband. Every check that was supposed to come in, every new opportunity, is going to be a time and a date. So what if that date and time is not here yet, according to God? Then guess what we do? You can still have it, though. That's the beauty of God. That's what I love about the consciousness journey. That's why I teach it here. Because I'm like, even if it's not my time to be a fucking billionaire, okay? Not that that's my goal, but say it's like, even if that's not my time right now, can I not live in the frequency? Baby, I love where you're going with that art direction.
Yeah, this is peaceful people coalition.
So good. And so then this is really where the conversation was starting, is we were just like talking about how like we're so happy that we're artists. You know, I'm so happy about that. Like, I really am. Because it's just fun. Like, it's just like the proper use of my life force, because life's not that serious. You know what I mean? It's just not that serious. And so that's what I feel. I just feel like the only person that's telling the message that like really is productive for us right now, that's not in the third dimension, which is just like all the, there's sides, there's not. I don't even know. It's like so crazy, because I'm going to do this for my guys. I'm going to do this for my guys who are stuck in the third dimension. Let's take a child. Why did I call this the Children of America tour? Because they're the best prototype for me to teach you the consciousness journey. So let's take a child. What is a child? A creation that comes from what? Two parents, right? The two parents that it takes to consummate a relationship and then therefore create and conceive a child, right? the ideas of masculine and feminine, woman and man, penis and vagina, right? Let's just talk about that. Those are two pieces that come together to create a whole. Within that, these two parts is the infinite spectrum between what they are, the two poles. They just represent two poles, but you need the two opposite forcing poles in order to make a what? Baby. And what is a baby? A whole person. The baby can have a gender in and of itself, but that's just how we keep the code going, right? The baby can have a sex in and of itself, which means like if it were to reproduce, what part of that equation would it be funneling? Would it provide the egg or the sperm? That could be one thing. But beyond that, that's really as simple as it is. So every binary is aspects to a whole. The parent-child relationship is actually supposed to teach you about the whole of life. I am my dad's daughter. He is my father. The connection to that spectrum, if you look at it, isn't to say one person has power over the other. They're supposed to show you that God is the whole. God assembled and created both of you. Both of you show an image of God. So any relationship we have, husband and wife, wife and wife, husband, it doesn't matter. You guys are coming together to show a full spectrum of a wholeness. And so really wholeness is what we're achieving. Wholeness, unity, consciousness, oneness, right? That's really what we're here to achieve. And so when people are telling you about just like, I think people get way too in a tizzy about like how a soul based on human evolution of their actual lineage, right? Because a lot of things like sexual identity, gender, expression, like ethnicity, nationality, all of those things are part of your ancestral tree. They're things you that get passed down, through time, through space. And they're also communicating with the metaphysical aspect of you. So they're also dealing with your soul. So you can receive a body, and then your soul has data and history of like what it feels like it aligns to. And so it's all one metaphysical conversation happening every now moment. And so for me, why do you think I say I believe in everything and nothing surprises me? Nothing is preposterous. Nobody's sexual orientation is like, nobody identifying in a different way is like, because that is, you're not here to adjudicate it. You're here to be like, that's what they're telling you it is. So all that tells me is like, someone's like, yeah, I'm a lesbian and I'm a white lesbian. Okay, if that's what the identity that they're telling me is, right? Fabulous. What we're understanding about that, if you're an intellectual, right? If you're an intellectual, the whole concept that you're hearing there is that identity is comprised of all of this history, right? To get there. The evolution of this person's body, the matching or mismatching of someone's soul feeling like it works with the vessel, because again, you just inherit the body, and your gender and or not your gender, but your sex selection is also kind of just like the fate of God. Like it's like it is kind of just like basically how the DNA like whether it's a boy or a girl, the type of frequency, like does it gonna have a dick or a vagina or something in between, that's gonna just be about the gene expression. So that stuff is determined by fate. So that's why when you summon a soul, there can be a conversation going on about whether that aligns with that metaphysical part of yourself. So again, it doesn't really matter, but I think some of us get so in the weeds about the cop terminology about how something as simple as like how humans are expressing what their energetic makeup is. And all I would hear to be saying is like, if you're thinking too small about it, it's gonna be complex. It's gonna be a complex picture, because it is, right? Some people identify as gay and right? But then like a lot of the things that I can see, like even in my own parents, like even my own father, like doesn't like really practice like particularly like sexual. He's not like a sexual being or anything, see? So it's like some of those behaviors could be considered asexual, and you could define it in a lot of different ways. So some people are living out the same experience as other people too. They're just like, oh, I don't participate in that. Like it doesn't. So what I'm saying is it could literally just be anything particularly. And I think we've gotten way too low on like putting too much value in like how someone's just expressing what it is that's going on with them. Do you get what I'm saying? Of course you do. So that's a little Q&A about that. But again, we gotta take the conversation higher up, because many of you will go down in the collapse at this time. Unfortunately, I don't hope for that. But if you do find yourself like being a fallen soldier at this time, you do have to understand that the timeliness of your death in this cycle, or like your like life stopping here, is that you're at a soul level, you are done moving into the new age, because the new age is going to force you to release your old concept of what you think is going on, Because many of you in the age of Pisces thought it was all about separation, right? Right. You know, you really believed in that illusion. That there are demigods, there are people to pray to, that there's one religion, or that there's one right way, or this is the way that you make money, or this is how you become successful, or this is how you matter to people. This is how... None of that's true. And that's true. Everything is all the same. Literally, you know? And most of it is the human thing, where it's like we want to feel the need to feel... To me, I think it has to do with wounding. It's like you do get a sense of, from an ego perspective, from that first dimension narcissistic paradigm, you do get a bit of a bustier if you can know you're doing better than someone else, because most of us don't feel God's love because we're buying into the illusion. So when you don't feel God's love, that's the reason you're going to feel better when it's like, oh, that homeless person is just a piece of shit. They don't do anything with their life. And you just keep driving by and you're like off your moped or on your fucking Mazda. You know what I mean? So it's like, that kind of sensation is something that I think is very human. It's like something that I really see a lot of people really feeling. Like, I guess it really feels good to know that, like, that college kid is stupid. Like, as a 60-year-old, you know? I'm laughing at my little 25-year-old kids because they don't got a house yet. Like, it's like stuff like that. It's you really eventually, when you wake up, you'll see it for what it is, which is just like, I mean,
It's not real.
It's not real. Even the
Like
fake elation of it is not real.
Yeah.
The dopamine hit is not real. And I think that's going to be really sobering to people. Because I think people really wanted to get on the fucking telly on the Tubi and be like, there's going to be some wave. But I hate to also break it to you. Some of you girls are not the wave starters that you think you are. The biggest wave that some of y'all are starting is like your tragic lifestyle. You know, and or untimely death. Like, I hate to break it to you. My best friend died of a heroin overdose, and you know how sobering that was for me? Because guess what? It's not going to start a revolution. It's not. The tacky way that you went out is not going to... It's not. It's going to devastate the bitches in your life. It's going to fuck them up for sure. But it's not going to... It's just not going to have the impact because you're not called... It's not written that way. Especially when it's free will that has you in that predicament. You know? You're not honoring some sort of divine, natural, circadian rhythm. Then you're out of the flow of life. So then it's up to you. Because the universe can only protect that which is in the cycles, which is in flow. Because it's already carved that path for all of us. And so when you're out here free willing it, bucking and chucking, and then you think like, this will be it's not. You know, Dennis brought up a great point. He was like, you remember in January when LA was on fire? Or Palisades was on fire? You see how stuff just like, it's not that stuff goes by. It's just as devastating to the people who are really affected by that. But I just think some people have to understand, like, with this collapse, like, I think a lot of people, it's very human to want the airtime. It's very human to feel like my life was the most important thing, and what happened to me or the trauma I faced is the most important thing, and people are never going to let it go. But I'm going to tell you, I lost my best friend, best friend of 13 plus years from, like, childhood, like, straight up. And even I, never, like, forgetting her name, but, like, you know, everybody says it when someone dies, like, I'll never let anyone forget your name. But you'll find yourself moving on to life. Because that's the truth. The truth is like, you got to live now. You got to live Moss where to Taco Bell. That's why the girls stay in business, because they told you what it was.
Yeah. They still got the crunch wraps. The day of tragedy might strike for some,
but you can get a crunch wrap anytime. Doesn't matter if it's 9/11. You can go get a crunch wrap. Mm-hmm. You know? So these are the things that I'm just trying to let you girls know. Is like, there's going to just be more life at the end of it unless you don't want to participate in it anymore. But unfortunately, these people are going to keep getting really unfortunate, like universal, shut it down, mute it type of frequencies, just because it's like, right now you're not going to be able to push that. You're not going to be able to be someone that keeps actually doing the separate consciousness thing. You can't be someone that, I don't care what religion you serve, if your religion is saying like, they're not like us in some way, good luck to you. Good luck to you, because they're exactly like you. Your enemy is exactly like you. Good luck. The demons are attacking us all. They're not in flesh. It's not flesh. But many of you are talking about other people's flesh all day. Even the crazy motherfuckers, what's in them is how long their lineage, their ancestry has been buying into separate consciousness. I.e. why it's so hard for them to divorce themselves from thinking that person who doesn't share my beliefs is different from me. They're not. And then y'all be like, oh my god, like a real person can be able to love their enemy in their death. But you hate you hate your enemies in practice in the day. You don't even gotta have an enemy. Matter of fact, pause. You can have as many enemies as you want. I got a lot of ops. But the thing is, they're not different than me. There's a big difference between thinking like my ops are like actually inherently like less than me, or like, no. Like with my mom, she's like, you just piss me off. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But you want to know what pisses me off is because I come from the unity conscious frequency, and I think that a lot of the stuff she does is unnecessary because it's illusionary. Like, I'm getting kicked out of your life for an imaginary reason because me and you aren't even doing different things. And if you remembered your life correctly, you'd see I'm doing how am I doing anything different than you? I'm not. So all of this to say, Seven of Wands. This is what I love about being an artist. This is what I love about my art. Because my art is heavily throat chakra. Like, the art that I do comes from my throat. Just kidding. I'm not kidding. Whatever, fuck it. We're all the same. You know? God, it's like we're all the same, dude. That's why I don't like it when these girls try to hide so much and try to be like, I'm not like you. Wait, are you really?
That's not true.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all be like, I hate this person, or I hate this artist, or they're this. It's like, but when you dislike something because you think it's different than you, it's corny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're like, it's just not what I'm on. What are you on?
Right.
What are you on? Exactly. Y'all are doing too much. My problem with some of y'all who I'm gonna at this point consider extremists as well, because half of you bitches think I'm an extremist. So if I'm an extremist, so the fuck are you? But some of you girls with your extremist point of views, it's like the whole thing for me though is like, I really think it's a big mark of like someone who's like asleep, essentially, who over inflates the power that a single human has. Like, point blank period type of frequency. Like, some of you actually think like humanity is the most supreme power. That's why we're doing all this at a government level, at a levels, because like, okay, girls, no, we're doing too much. And don't let this internet play you. Like, just don't. Like, just log off and see. Like, just. And another thing, this isn't even an ageist thing, but it should be. I think some of these applications should have like a age limit. Like, okay, we're booting you off the TikToker. Like, you can't be over 40. Like, actually, like, you know how many people I've heard like 50, 60 being like, oh, I saw this on TikTok. Okay, I don't know when, like, y'all didn't used to be on Vine. You know what I mean? So like, we shouldn't be on TikTok. It's not like it's not Google. It is like Vine. You know what I mean? That's like being like 63-year-old mom being like, I was on Triller. That's the problem. Get off Triller.
Right.
Get off Triller. There's got to be some places where people can just be like unconscious, like little shit pinatas, little shit thieves, without people starting like global media conversations about things that unconscious people say. Because you know how many people I've seen on their Instagram be like, I just had to say this because I can't believe some of y'all are like getting on here and like doing it's like, oh Jesus. How old are you? That was your first mistake. Log off. I thought me and Dennis were talking about. We thought TikTok was banned. We didn't even know. We didn't even think y'all could get on it in this country anymore. We don't know. We're so not on this. We're not on it. You know where we are. You see what we do every day. So we didn't know that at all. We really didn't like have the. We don't know. But yeah, there are some things that I do think like we need to check in. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like y'all lived all the way to the 2000s without a cell phone. You know what I mean? Some of y'all have like pagers and shit in your phone and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's like y'all. It's like you're dripping too hard. Like, stop. Yep. You know? Like, let the kids have something. You know? Log off. Because you shouldn't even be on there. You know? Because it's just like, I just love that picture of you so much. But, so there's that as well. that I think we contemplating, but it's just like you guys haven't really reached that frequency of laughter. You know what I mean? We haven't reached the frequency of laughter because I want other people to also know, baby. Here's an Alexis Taylor fucking suggestion. Do not go fishing for traumatic experiences. I'm gonna tell you this one time, baby. Your life is about to get drilled, baby. You don't gotta go looking for trauma. It's gonna come and find you. At some point, it's gonna be you with the news. At some point, it's gonna be like, oh my god. Like I was telling Dennis earlier, I was like, brother, everybody's death is untimely. You could be Quincy Jones dying in 91, and everybody's like, we lost the lesson. It was too soon. Too soon. 91. Too soon. Right? You can do everything right with your life. You could be Quincy Jones. It's too soon. You get what I'm saying? You could go in your sleep next to your chihuahua, and it could be too much. It could be pain. It's gonna feel the same way to the living. Like, you know, it's the truth. So every death feels untimely, no matter even how they even really truly go. But another thing that you also don't need to over-explain, like, we all have a proper amount of empathy. We all have a proper amount of, like, yeah, that would be, like, sad if it was, like, close range to me. But with this internet shit, you don't also need to go pick it up, because I think some of y'all are thinking, like, it's kind of, like, along the lines of, like, performing poorness, you know, or, like, to, like, be on trend, or, like, performing blackness, you know, it's the same thing. Where it's like a lot of times when we get on the internet spheres, it's like we feel this need to be like, it's okay to not have a comment. Like, take it from me. Like, if anybody's like, I didn't hear you say anything, be like, quote this video. Be like, this girl's the reason she told me I'm good. I'm serious. You're good. You don't have to, you don't even got to say nothing.
We don't need to hear your opinion on it.
You don't have, I think a lot of people, that's why I left the internet, I mean, the Instagram space. Like, I don't participate in Instagram with the follower thing anymore because, baby, it was the summer of 2020 where I really was like, I'm done with this because it's like, I couldn't see another black box. I was like, y'all, it's okay. Like, it's a photo sharing app. Like, we're dripping too hard. You know what I mean? We're dripping too hard. We are having global conversations, yes, but it's absolutely your right to also be like, hey, you know, I'd rather not see like the circulating, you know, images and footage and truth about like someone like George Floyd's murder because, you know, for some of us, that's not the only time we've ever experienced that, you know? And I kept finding myself in that position. It's like a lot of times when people who don't engage black people's real realities in real life hear about black news, or like, I'm just speaking for my community specifically. Yeah, it might be like, what? But I mean, you know how many people have like seen gun violence, seen trauma, seen like, it's, you know, you really just don't know. And so I feel like you are super good to fall back at this time. And I think you know that, but like I told you, 2025 was going to be COVID on crack, because COVID on crack was really just trying to get us to be it was like a little like, hey, I'm about to wake you all up and like connect you all. But the next phases of it aren't even like another bubonic plague coming. It's just like even more like the technology just keeps increasing, so we get things in real time. We're just getting like, you can pretty much there's pretty much a camera anywhere and everywhere now, which is the natural progression of what's going to be. So you can kind of see and be connected to anything that's happening like in the now moment pretty immediately, and it's just going to continue in that trend. So it's just about having a healthy balance of like understanding that it's like, yeah, but don't ever forfeit like what you really like live out, no matter what. Especially not, like I said, these are applications, you know? I can't wait for the day that these guys like really go out for good and then we all get freed, you know? Hopefully Meta's like, fuck it, new initiative.
We're done.
We're going into the wing industry, vegan cauliflower wing industry. So we're not even doing Instagram, Facebook, none of it anymore. It would just be good for all of us. It would. Because then, don't you think that a peace would prevail? It would. Because it's like, oh, suddenly it's all just, your aunts that have been on Facebook being crazy for too long, gotta let it go. Gotta shut up. Nobody wants to hear it now. You know, and then you'll be forced to go talk to real people in real life. And I promise you the reason you don't hang out with real people in real life, because they told you to shut up a long time ago. You tried to bring that backward rhetoric into that. Girls like, they stopped responding to the group chat. They was like, shut up. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, people were moving weird with me this year. Super weird. Too weird for my taste. Like, you know, I got kind of upset because I was like, me and my brother are proper best friends, like, attached to the hip. But then I was like, bro, you're parasocially stalking me? Why are you doing that? Why are you putting degrees? What? Why are there like, why do you get your information on your sister through like the internet and not through like talking? You're irritating me. Because that's weird behavior.
Yeah. When
So
it gets to a point to where it's like we can't even just like,
y'all are sick is
yeah,
what the
we're
problem.
actually-
That's the point
yeah,
we're at. Y'all are sick
yeah.
in your brain because you've been on your telly too long.
Too long.
And it's not even about how long you're on your telly. It's actually your online habits. It's actually like what you
Right.
use your phone for.
Very
We're
true.
chronically on our devices all the time, but it's also while we're living like certain lives. Like we don't, like you guys wouldn't even believe. I mean, you do believe it because you see our Instagrams. I'm like 2,000 posts deep on Instagram and counting or some shit. And it's like, but there's just me. So it's just an archive, and I really enjoy that. Like I really loved that about Instagram when it first came out. It was just like the ability to like make art, because I'm a filmmaker, I'm also a photographer. So it's like it was great for me, right? But I'm like, yeah, I just have to have healthy boundaries with myself. I don't really care for the follower dynamic. You can see everyone's page who's public, so you can always go search. But I don't really want to create a cord to people. It's part of the reason why I hate this iPhone, because I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. So 7 of Wands, the distinct. You're above it. You see this? You're. It's just like way above it. You know? This is like, it doesn't matter, we're all one. You see, he's not even pressed. Because everybody wants to find individual victory, and then somebody's like, we all have the victory. You know? We all really do. We're all success. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Because, again, when death comes, I mean, it's just important not to lose perspective that, like, don't, like, fucking cry over. I mean, you're gonna have death in your life, too. You're gonna die, too. You know? It's like, I just want you guys to remember that. And the way you will die, I mean, your body's gonna have to stop. I mean, I wish I could say everybody just has the most peaceful, like, but that it may not be the truth, you know? Take it from me. I mean, when I had to watch my dad die from a stroke at age 9, it was like, damn. So you might get taken out by a stroke, you know? You might get taken out by cancer. You might get taken out, I don't know. I don't know how some of you girls live. But it doesn't feel good either way. I mean, it's not great. So I just don't want you to, you know, don't use all your marbles, because you're going to get really humbled by the universe when it's time for you to deal with your own shit and you've already like shed all your tears and you've been like performing online, you know, because I think there are certain aspects of social media and technology and the internet that also really can be detrimental to human processes, right? Which is like, we aren't actually supposed to have access to everything, you know?
True. Very true.
We're not. That's like not, you're not supposed to just like be able to have access to every timeline, because you're not living out every timeline. Most of us, all of us, are committing to one timeline.
Mm-hmm.
There are infinite available, but most of us are working on the thing we're working on and doing the thing we're doing on the timeline we're on. So you have to just be very careful with the internet, because that's what you're really surfing through, the ether, the energetic makeup of the world, and you're like going all over the place, and you can tap into anything. So just take it as more sacred than what it is, because it could just take you off of like where you're really at. You know what I mean? Type of frecuencia. And then it's like the bottom here. It's like the Hangman and the Queen of Cups, right? People are getting a totally different perspective. Yeah, I just hate to break it to you girls on the shit. Like, I really hate to break that to you. But it's kind of what you're going to see. Because this transformation that has... Look. Death has come and changed this transformation. I've been sitting over here while everybody's just been fighting me. And the whole time I was like, I don't hate you. I'm not mad. I just have love for you. I don't understand why you're sending all this. We're separate, and I'm going to work and you're not going to work, and I'm doing this and you're not doing that. So that's why I can only have you be here. It's like y'all are stressing yourselves out, because it looks like you got turned upside down. You get what I'm saying? This is a huge message, because I think there's a lot of people also that were dealing with me where they're getting some crazy karma right now, because it's just like all those illusions you made, they didn't hold up. So then it's like whatever you were projecting onto, it's probably because the thing you had to project was like uncomfortable, but then it's like, okay, you projected it, but then you're still sitting with it. That's how I feel right now for many, you know? Because you can get on national television and be like, you're gonna be, and you just, but I mean, it's not gonna change that you got the situation on your plate, you know? I know we're all gonna come from our own emotional space, but like, you're dealing with being a widow and you're probably dealing with the feelings of not wanting to be that, right? My mom, kicking me and Dennis out, it's like, it doesn't matter how much you project it onto me and Dennis. In the end, if you're unhappy in your relationship, you're still going to have to get out of it yourself, right? Same with my brother. It was like he just dumped on me like all of his living situation and why it was so bad. And I was like, well, I'm so sorry for inconveniencing you with my houselessness. I'm really sorry for that, but I don't know what family's for. I don't know what you being stable and having a space and extra and abundance would be for, other than to help the two people that are in your life. Like me, my mom, and my brother, for a long time, it was just us three. So we were only responsible to each other. So it was like, yeah, it was hard for me in 2025 because I was like, yeah, this is just me having a low cycle. I'm allowed to like go through a patch of struggle and ask for help, and I am trying to help myself. I really am. But I'm not going to like do the unintelligent thing, which is just sign up to build things that won't move me forward. And in fact, the universe always intervenes with me and doesn't even allow me to do it. So, just saying. It's all these things, bro. And it's another reason why my documentary series is fucking crazy. Because when I saw this hangman, it's just like, I already told y'all. Expect it. If you are at the top, crucifixion and coronation are the same side of the same coin, you will experience both. That is the whole polarity of life. In order to achieve success, I got to be right here, right now. In order for one day, people are going to look at this. It's not even one day. The day that people look at this and are like, holy shit, this is the most genius shit someone's ever said. Unfortunately, I had to live out fucking 5 years of building this studio where I was homeless over it. Why? Because it's the only way I get the value of what the whole thing that I built here really is. That's going to come. And I also would suggest that you need to understand that, the achievements that you've made, when death comes to them, it is supposed to give you an alternate perspective. It will give you the alternate perspective. But I think some of y'all are a little upset right now and a little in a tizzy because you got to live out just one side of what you were creating was, right? So maybe you just wanted to build your business because you just wanted to be coronated. You just wanted to be seen for the success. Okay, well then the Reaper comes through your field and it's time to change that, to take you to the other pole. And I think a lot of people are sitting there like tongue-tied a little bit. I heard tongue-tied by Group Love. Don't leave me tongue-tied. Don't waste no goodbye. Don't. I don't even know the book. But some of y'all are a little tongue-tied right now, I think. Because it looks like everybody wants to be distinguished in achievement and achieve great things. But not everybody's willing to be crucified for it. And even if you tell the world, like, I would die for this, I'm a martyr for this. Some of y'all have a hard time being a martyr. You let me know how next week feels when you realize your forever will never change. Look, don't speak too soon. Don't be too prideful with it. It's not easy. Because God says when, Oh my God, this Queen of Cups, bro. I think a lot of people, Saturn and Aries, there is no new... Oof, it was rough. It was a rough week for my country, But I think what Saturn and Aries says is like, it's a lot of new beginnings you didn't necessarily know you wanted to start. This is when you get catapulted into a new beginning. This is the kind of stuff where it's like, a new beginning is here for you. And it doesn't matter how you want to say it. All things arc back to the greatest good, And life will go on. Even when you're in a current moment, you have to understand, you got to believe that it's possible that in a decade, you could have been widowed a decade ago, and you could fall in love again. You could have a whole nother life and family and job. You could lose one job and keep going in a whole new way. But one of the biggest messages for me is like, I saw the full cup that God was trying to give me today about where all of this leads to, why I was asked to make Tethered Studios at the time that I was asked to make it, why I was asked to make this tour. You know, I got so much beautiful information about like what this tour is really about and like actually why it's been delayed, because I've been thinking it's just like a small scale like endeavor to like jumpstart like the businesses into some business. And then God was like really revealing me, he was like, are you ready or not? Because you're about to start this new journey that I don't think you realize. And there were certain death frequencies of this week that really like actually really connected to my journey. It was like certain things that like the Reaper took out and it like illuminated my path. I was like, oh, that's my call. Oh, that's why. Because this is what we wanted to talk about. Divine love. This is the split. Look at these people. Right now, love is the only alternative to the collapse. So these people are all about to look up and be like, wait, what? Oh, you have love? That's all that's going to keep going. That's it. And they could be looking for you, like, where are you at? It's like, I'm over here in love. You know? And this is about physically building, right? Building new earth, being the manifester, being the person that created it. You know? Word to the surround sound interview, Dennis had a beautiful, one of the earliest questions, he was like, the best piece of advice I was ever given is to build a home for yourself. And that was the guidance 5 years ago when we entered into the 2020s. But who creates the tower? I feel like that was what I got the message of today. It's like, there are certain towers that I know I'm like causing in the world. Just because I'm claiming my destiny. There's a lot of girls who claim other people's destinies just because so many destinies go unclaimed, unfortunately, through the Matrix. They make us all sacrifice our destiny. So there's a lot of motherfuckers out here that were like, they can see that this needs to get fulfilled and they'll just grab them. Right. Those are the niggas getting popped. Oop, I hate to say it. I'm telling you. If you're dying at this time, you're supposed to go. It's like tough. I'm not even saying how. Again, that's the free will of it all. But if you're exiting under something like a Pisces, top of eclipse season, girl, you got eclipsed. You were what the world eclipsed. It's crazy. Hate to bring it to you. Girl, you want to spin that. That goes for everybody indiscriminately. Somebody gets taken out in eclipse, time to get eclipsed. You know? But you girls don't listen. You girls don't listen. When God told you to take a back seat, because right now I'm starting to work and move in the hearts and souls of man and to send them to the new frequency of Mother Gaia, I need you to fall back because people might be a little erratic and y'all don't listen. It's never worth it. Because that anger and rage that your loved ones are going to feel when you just don't seem to be obedient and you can't get it. That's the only people that's really pressed. Ain't nobody to blame. Who you mad at? Don't keep stealing people's consciousness. Because then if you take someone's consciousness, even as like a public figure, which a lot of you are obsessed with being media personalities, don't know why. Don't know who told you were cute. Don't know who told you were interesting. It's unfortunate. But some of you are so obsessed with being media personalities and then aggressively capturing people's consciousness like a fucking evangelical fucking youth pastor or some shit. And then you get surprised when those people's behaviors are on your hands. Because you have taken their consciousness and told them to put it on you. You need to tell people to see the God in you and move right through you, because you don't matter. Nothing you say matters. No debate you have matters. No point you have countering someone else matters to someone else. Really, it doesn't. I've already told you girls this from the start. People need to be focusing on themselves and getting themselves justice right now. They do not, you need to be worried about your family. If you got kids, you need to be worried about your kids. Do not put yourself in danger. Do not put yourself in a situation where now them kids are about to be just like the rest of these kids, fatherless. Because they had a bozo father who couldn't even put their safety first. And stop running their mouth. Don't do that, because you can't control other people. And there are times where this is the frequency, where a collapse is actually happening. So be careful with what you create in the world under collapse energy. We for sure need to clarify, because we got the outcome as a 9 of Swords. I think the thing that people can't hide behind is, like, you can say anything to the outside world, but, like, I'm the kind of person who works with the energetics of how people genuinely feel. The feelings that you're actually just feelings, the ones you don't even got to get honest about, the ones that just, like, exist inside your body. When I talk about comprehensively giving justice to all people, all children of this planet, of every age, it comes from that, because many of us as children woke up feeling such an immeasurable bout of pain and trauma because of the circumstances we were living that were out of alignment with, like, the planet being on a high frequency. And so that just got built, life just got built on top of all that pain, and now we're all just, like, caffeinated, drugged up adults trying to get through it, or we're hyper religious, or we're hyper, and we're just really, what I'm seeing the through line of all that really being is just a bunch of fucking children who need their creator to come through, somebody's anybody, to help actually alleviate and acknowledge what's under the surface, you know? Because today you don't really need to be prepared to make a big statement. You don't have to keep addressing the world. Like, that's what's getting weird about some of you girls, is, like, some of you girls really can't, like, witness yourself, you know? Like, when you're going through a tower, like, fall back. Don't mask it, because we will also really be able to tell when you're trying to, like, take all this, you know? And that's one thing I will have critiques about with certain religious aspects of life, or, like, religious spaces that, like, ask you to play some superhuman role, like, act like an apostle, and just, like, completely not be where you are and feel like you need to be further along, when the reality is even if you want to attempt that, you are where you are in terms of how you feel about life. And don't be trying to do too much when you're going through a really terrible experience. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to, you know? It's one thing I really fight with my parents. I'm like, what is this? Ain't no slave in me, babes. I'm about to cry. I'm going to cry for a long time about, or it's going to, you know? I move pretty quick through, like, certain, like, healing, you know what I mean? But, like, you're going to let me deal with the fact, you know? I didn't have my dad in a lot of chapters of my life that really mattered, and in a lot of parts of my life that really mattered. I still got to acknowledge that, you know? I got to be able to acknowledge that and be able to deal with that and be able to be okay with that, you know? And I don't care about being Superman over it, you know? I'm not going to get a cookie just because I just shoved it, you know? People need an adequate time to just, like, deal with, like, what malfunctioned in their life. But we are dealing about the 10 Pentacles, right? Because I feel like right now, you know, a lot of these new chapters are also chapters that I think people created for themselves. Again, whether you were conscious during that journey or not, I don't know. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about kind of like a higher up conversation, like about unity consciousness and about, you know, some good food for your brain and not some horrible shit. Because that's what Tethered Studios does, you know, it gives you the good shit. It doesn't give you the fucking fucked up shit, you know what I mean? So when you're on your public transit or your private transit, you can just, wow, you know, dude, it's me. It's this Queen of Cups energy. It's like all there, you know. It's like the Queen of Cups is like the most emotionally intelligent and knows what to administer. This is like the mother who can breastfeed you into fucking peace and health, you know. And that's gonna stand out right now. That's why this is my time. That's why, like, God always told me, like, Alexa, don't worry. Yes, you're not gonna make any money because things haven't collapsed yet, but you really will be making so many bands for the services you offer, because people will eventually really need them. Because I think Saturn and Aries just kind of gave everybody the kick in the ass into the new world. Like, I think a lot of the things that we saw, specifically if I'm just talking about, like, in my country, but it's actually been global, that is, like, a lot of new beginnings that I think people reacted to or retaliated against or whatever, that were just, like, pushed and ushered in by the divine, because like certain things got to be done now. We can't keep having the same conversations. And you know, some people even still were really disobedient with the universe and were just kind of like, we're not going to stop the conversation. We're not going to change. We're going to double down. It's like, good luck doubling down. It'll be more dead bodies. I promise you, nobody's getting out unscathed. I'm not kidding. You're not going to outdo God. You're not. You're just not. Dude, this is what I'm... Eesh. That's what I'm saying. It's been a big procession. When the hangman is asking you to have a different perspective, when you need to reach enlightenment and you remain blind to that, and then you lose, because when the Reaper comes, you just, this isn't what you want to do, you know? When this presence is coming, you want to have a different perspective on what death is, because death is actually a new beginning. So again, what I think a lot of people wanted us to just stop at, which is like how sad it is that the Ten of Swords took place, which is God's judgment. That's like the final spiritual test, which is like, you got to be initiated through the 10th sword and lose your old form. But what comes right after that is the King of Pentacles, which means like, you know, some people think that like when tragedy strikes, again, it says what it says. People can't spin a different narrative, you know. Again, if you know anything about eclipse portal, if you go to an eclipse, it's like you're being called on home. You know what I mean? By more powers than one. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that like you're gonna have a really changed perspective, because I think people thought that like the things that we're losing right now were the best we could ever have, and we just lost the light. But I think it's because there's this whole, people are about to have a huge awakening. It's like, oh, we thought that was the voice. We thought that was the light of the world. It's not. Some of you might even realize that some of the stuff was the darkness. Like a lot of the stuff that many of us are losing at this time during this eclipse portal that gets eclipsed out, as much as it could be a grieving type of thing, it could be something that you feel like you're mourning, but like don't get lost on the fact that like the thing that ends actually brings you there's a better thing on the other side of it. And that's something that I really got, because that's what all Spirit's trying to bring you. It's like anytime I stop something, it's because I have this actually. So I'm trying to raise you to a better standard. And that is actually exactly what's happening. It's like you're trying to be brought to a higher standard. Like if something gets eclipsed or taken out, it's like you don't have to worry, because what your Spirit was trying to enlighten you to is that like the thing that you're so resistant to letting go of, you won't let go of, you won't let yourself see it differently. Because I think people just need to realize like what gets cut is because there's actually something that's on top. Like I think for a lot of people in the old world too, especially now, like right now, the people that are tweaking the most and the loudest are obviously people who just like the last people who did not volunteer to like do any sort of transformation into the old world. So now they're waiting on like the universe to like usher the close. They're getting it like with everybody else. That's why a lot of people right now, if you're just now starting unpacking your family and your life and your personal life and like ascending that consciousness, you're also doing it at the same time as like whoever else is delayed on the earth and whatever else system has to collapse. And so it's just going to be probably really overwhelming to your nervous system, because it's going to feel like the collective is completely all going to, and there's no light. But it's not true. You actually just like did not volunteer. It's like we did a first call, we did a second call for people, we did a third round, we did a fourth. It's like we've had infinite opportunities since 2020 to get on the wave of consciousness and ascension. So if right now you're just now getting the lights knocked out of you or the lights turned on in certain ways, just know that there are people who came before you who are like, baby, come on, hurry up. This shit has been dead. This shit has already passed away. The earth, that is, you know? So I just think this is definitely one of those times where it's like, just be careful, because like I said, it's likely at this time that it's just you that's coming to consciousness about something that's been gone for some time. You know? And I think when I made this tour, one of the most important things that I had to do was like internally do the physicality of the tour. And so I feel like that's what the Nine of Pentacles really represents for me. It's like I had the idea to craft this, like I want to go on this tour, but then I went on the tour within first, you know? And I just think this has a lot to do with God's cup. I think this is a new beginning that, like, people are... If you feel like right now your reality is like, why did I just get forced into this new start? You have to really work on surrendering to God, because whatever readjustment you're experiencing did in fact come from God. Because the cup you should have always been drinking, God is going through like extra lengths right now because of how much God's consciousness really like wants the original plan for your life to take place. All that extreme rickety moving it around actually just comes from like, it's time for you to drink the cup you were always supposed to drink from. I think this is gonna humble a lot of people, a lot of marriages, a lot of endings, because a lot of people were in that illusion of separation in the age of Pisces. It was just like, make it up, because we're not connected to a source anyway. So just like be your own, not even be your own source. It's just like outsource things, because the age of the Aquarius is saying like, be the source, be in the image of source. The source is in you. But age of Pisces is like, outsource it. And so I think a lot of people who were like outsourcing love, like instead of waiting for yourself to organically like fall in love with someone, you were like going to find love, and then you like say that that's what I must have it with this person because I just wanted to build it with them. And so you're going to see a lot of that in relationships where it just falls out, because it's just like you're getting remagnetized completely. It could be brutal because Ten of Swords can come any way to you depending on how you deal with initiations in terms of spirit. But yeah, whatever you're doing that's just like not... It's just not going to make it through the hellfire, because God's about to put it to the fire. And a lot of that stuff fell off before it could even touch the fire. Like some of the stuff is so out of alignment for certain people that it just disappeared before it even got to the fire. Because this is what Spirit wants in the near future. You need to be receptive. Like, this is someone who's like, let's just build with whoever. Like, this is, do you see the two paradigms where it's like, what can't happen any longer is like Queen of Pentacles. You're supposed to be in your own throne, right? But the idea is that like, when you're building your life up, you're not just like assembling randomness to do it anymore. You're actually waiting for what's supposed to come for you in your port, not just like IKEA furniture, no instructions with a bunch of bozos. Because that is really what's on the inside of all these collaborations, these partnerships, these, like, sometimes people's families, lineages and stuff are built off of that. Like, some people just like really aren't even like, it sucks, and I know it doesn't have to suck that bad, but it's like the towers that are coming right now are just stuff that was like never really consecrated by a higher consciousness. They were just like unconscious behaviors. Do you see what I'm saying? And so Spirit's really trying to straighten that up in the near future, so that you can be here. Because I just don't think people are prepared. Like, life is about to be completely different. The way we're living right now, we will be living nothing like this in 10 years. And 10 years, the way we live will be like, why did we even live that way? That's so crazy. This isn't, I'm telling you, it is going to be that night and day. Excuse me, I'm like itchy. It's going to be that night and day. Because this, all the signs of the crazy, what we think is craziness and like chaos is not actually chaos. The chaos of like things getting re-scrambled, it always has to come through chaos. But it's actually because God is aligning real proper soulmates, real people. Yeah, don't be surprised. A lot of people who say like, oh, that was my husband, that was my love, or this is my wife, or whatever. A lot of these guys, that's not even who God wanted. That's not even who they're not even married to someone who's designed for this. A lot of people have kids with people that's like, well, there's no reason for you to have kids with this person. Because y'all actually don't have, y'all's past don't got nothing to do with nothing. I'm serious. Oof, and I feel like this tower is so painful for people right now. Because I think it's just a big ego death for the collective. Because it's just like, damn. It's more about how much, do you see, this is stupid. This is stupid. This is like, and so castles made of sand fall in the sea. Eventually, it doesn't matter how many pentacles you put into your sandcastle. When that tide comes, it's washing it into the sea. And I think people are devastated about that right now. Devastated. Because humans are fighting God. They're like, no, if I just work hard at it, if I just put enough into it, it won't get washed away. And it's absolutely getting washed away. Yeah, if it's built on a fake foundation. Like, it's been a war spiritually for me, because